For the past 6 months, I've been using the Lenovo Slim Pro 9i as my daily driver laptop. While I've had many companies offer to send me laptops to review, I usually don't accept them as they don't fit the criteria of what I'm looking for as a travel laptop, and I don't want to review laptops just for the sake of it. If you're new to my channel, I only review laptops and products I use day in, day out. The Slim Pro 9i is an exception, however. When Lenovo reached out to send me a unit for review, I jumped on the offer as it has some very unique features that I think make it the ultimate portable powerhouse. First off, we have to start with the star of the show, and that's the display. This is hands down the nicest and brightest screen I've tried on a laptop. It's got all the goodies that you'd expect in a much larger gaming laptop, wrapped up into a sweet spot of a 14.5-inch screen and chassis. The 3K resolution, it's incredibly sharp, and the mini LED provides fantastic brightness and contrast. It almost feels like it has OLED level blacks. In addition to the 0.2 millisecond response time, it has a 165 Hz screen for some adequate gaming. For content creation, this has become my new go-to reference point. The PureSight Pro display has all the bells and whistles in terms of coverage that you would want. The display even calibrates itself depending on what task you're doing. A nice touch. At 1200 nits, the display provides an eye-searing experience that is just fantastic. All the content I've consumed or made looks incredible on this display. Lenovo really hit it out of the park. I've always favored laptops around the 15 to 15.6 inch size for portability, and always thought 13.3 or 14 was too small, but the 14.5 inch size seems to be a sweet spot versus the 16 inch they offer. A little more on that model later. My only critique of this panel is that the minimum brightness isn't quite what I'd want in much darker settings, but it's by no means a deal breaker. I also really like that it has a touchscreen. Getting to the top deck of the laptop, the keyboard is fantastic. Lenovo's reputation for solid keyboards precedes themselves, and the backlighting adjustability is useful. Here's a quick typing comparison test. I really like that they lock the top row of buttons without needing to use the function button, as I use the volume and brightness keys incessantly throughout the day. The glass trackpad has a great feel. I just wish it was centered with the laptop and not the spacebar, but we're talking millimeters of difference here. The speakers are best in class for a PC of this size too. With a quad array firing down and up, the sound is punchy, if only lacking in bass a little. Moving to the sides, the ports were actually what sold me on this laptop. If you've seen any of my other laptop reviews, you'll know that I despise proprietary charging bricks. They're fine for desktop replacements, but for something on the go, it's an unnecessary piece of equipment that you have to bring along so you aren't stranded without power if you need it. That's partially why I chose the 14-inch version over the 16-inch. This is one of the few, if not only, powerful and portable PCs that run solely off of USB-C. The other one I can think of is the Galaxy Book 3 Ultra, which is a larger laptop. Even Asus's 14-inch equivalent has a proprietary power brick. That way I don't mind lugging it around with all of my camera gear, as it can charge pretty much anything in my backpack. That's probably one of the biggest reasons I've kept this 2017 Galaxy Book Pro as my travel laptop all this time. Finally, I can retire it as my dedicated drawing pad now. For the other ports, it has pretty much anything you would need. My only wish was that they would put the USB-Cs on opposite sides so that you could choose which side to power the laptop from. The SD card reader is a great touch too. Interestingly enough, as I mostly use the laptop outside of the house, I didn't think much about updates besides Windows updates. This led me to have an extremely dated BIOS driver and Nvidia driver. Oddly enough, it was installed with a game-ready version from February of last year, even though it should have a studio version. Nonetheless, I decided to benchmark it before and after out of curiosity, and the results speak for themselves. My export times for 3 various 1080p, 1440p, and 4K tests all dropped significantly. Geekbench and Cinebench got huge score increases. Oddly enough, Blender wouldn't run before the update, probably because the driver was sold. The rest of the hardware is fantastic though. 13705H CPU with a 4050 Studio Edition and 32 gigabytes of RAM. It can game solidly too, and with some tweaked settings in Rocket League, I saw a 15 FPS increase on average and a 10 FPS increase in Halo. I will note that in the Vantage software, it's nice that they have the option for overclocking, although I only messed around with it once as I've been pretty happy with the speed on performance mode. And if I want it to be a little quieter, I will hit Function and Q and put it in the cool mode, which provides solid performance with minimal noise. The noise on the performance mode isn't that bad, but if I'm listening back to something on the speakers while performing a demanding task, that middle option's great. I also ran Latency Monitor. While the general system latency wasn't bad, if you're running any DAW or other music software, I would recommend turning off Nvidia graphics and using the iGPU per usual. Part of why I was so excited for this laptop is that I can use a multitude of chargers for it. If I just want to take it to a coffee shop to do some light work, I can use my 65-watt Anker GAN charger for ultimate portability. If I want to edit a video, I'll take my 100-watt Hyperjuice charger. I'll link both of these chargers below if you're interested in them. The only time I really need the 140-watt charger is when I'm gaming. Gaming, by the way, is a great experience on this laptop with the gorgeous screen, good sound, and fast refresh rate. Battery life is solid, and for most tasks, I would get around 6 or 7 hours. For more demanding tasks, I can expect between 3 and 4 hours. I've edited 1 or 2 videos solely on battery life, and I got about 2.5 or 3 hours. If you have everything set to battery saving, you can certainly get more than 7 hours. This year's new Core Ultra processors promise better battery with 2 lower powered cores, which should provide a couple hours more of battery, but those are looking like they're going to be quite expensive, and so far only the 16-inch version has been announced, so it's not a direct competitor by any means. The durability has been quite solid with only a few tiny scuffs overall during my ownership, but generally the finish is quite good on Lenovo's new laptops. I like that the bottom has a little rubber lip to lift the laptop for better thermal performance. I also like the mostly metal construction. In the camera settings, it's set to 1080p by default, but I can actually set it to 1440p. So let's do that. And we'll give it so I'll do a screen capture, and I'll also put the output of the actual video. So you'll see there is a physical switch here, which is kind of cool. You can shut it off immediately at a hardware level. I do have pretty good lighting here. External mic here, we're just using what's built in. I have it on a laptop stand, so it's a little bit of a better angle right now. But you see a little bit of grain. It is a little darker right now, but I do have good lighting right here. This little laptop has really changed my mobile editing game. Being able to have a portable Powerhouse on the go is amazing, and I really love the flexibility of the charging for it. The screen is really the star of the show. My only wish would be for the screen to rotate 180 degrees and have pen support, but that is by no means a deal breaker. Oh yeah, also to every PC manufacturer out there, please stop shipping McAfee. The Lenovo Slim Pro 9i can also be found on very good sales as well, which I'll link below. If you'd like to see the desktop replacement laptop I use, you can check out that video here. Thanks for watching.